Is it going? I think so. Okay. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Blue Hawaii Babble. I'm here with Dr. Dawn Paresa, the Land Arb Queen.
And we have Racing the Land Deal Machine Sugai. And joining us today, we have a special guest,
Yes.
Hello.
Paul Brewer. Paul Brewer, yay!
He's a fireman, if you can't tell. Busy working the fires in California.
Yeah.
Wow. So thanks for coming on the show with us.
You are most welcome. Glad I could finally make it on.
I know. It's been crazy.
It's a little crazy. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy here too. I mean, we're obviously we have to be on Zoom, but Racine and I are like it's much more strict now. We have lockdown for 14 days. I'm in a room and I'm at school at school, but I'm borrowing my friend's room, and
Wow.
yeah, we can't go anywhere really. It's crazier.
That is crazy. Yeah, we saw that they'd shut things more down out there for you. It's gotta be getting kind of tiring though.
Yeah, we're so
Dawn
done.
is like,
Yeah, I bet.
Dawn is like essential. I'm not. So this is my room.
Perfect.
It's not my room. My husband is in the living room on his own Zoom calls for work. And so I have been banished to the bedroom.
Yeah, that's the way of life now. Zoom calls for everything.
So we're really excited because folks are watching, and they're asking some good questions, and we wanted to get some info from you, Paul. Tell us a little bit more about how you found, the Land Geek and how you got started in the land business.
Yeah, so I heard about Mark on some financial podcast somewhere. Sounded really cool, the whole model of selling land, until he mentioned direct mail. And I'm like, nope, not going to do that. I'm not going to subject people to a whole bunch of mail, right? So I put it aside for about 3 months, and then my drive into work is about 2.5 hours long. So
Wow.
the night before, I line up a whole bunch of podcasts to keep myself entertained, and by random chance, like 3 podcasts back to back were all Mark on other podcasts. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should pay attention to this a little bit. So I got his free investors, whatever the free $97 little thing is he gives. I got that, read through that. I'm like, okay, this sounds kind of cool. Waited around. They ran something super special. So I grabbed the toolkit and gave the toolkit a try for about 6 months and got absolutely nowhere. Because the toolkit's great, but I've never run a business before. And I chase shiny objects on a regular basis. So the focus wasn't there. And then finally, I'll forget this. Talk to my wife. We're like, if we're going to do a business, we better do some real training. That's when we jumped into flight school, and that's when things kind of started taking off.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's a sign. Like
I know.
Exactly.
I was gonna say there's signs everywhere, and you just got them. Like
exactly. Exactly.
And so, how's it going? Tell us about your land business and how long it's been.
So things have been going real good. So the day that flight school started, in that 6 months messing around with the toolkit, I managed to buy a single property. And the day flight school started, I sold that property for cash, which paid for flight school. So that was another sign for you. That's like, okay, this actually works and we need to go do it. So went to flight school, met Adam, who you had on here earlier, and we started up a good friendship and a competition. And then we went to boot camp earlier in January this year, and we talked ourselves into coaching. And that's when things really started to take off. So we got that one-on-one coach. He's got it all dialed out. We started a competition on the side, which is immensely helping. So I highly recommend you two ladies start your own little competition and see where that takes you. But things have been going very, very well, especially since we've only been, both Adam and I count our full-time starting land business as of January this year. So I guess full-time kind of a loose term, but yeah. So we've been doing good, surprisingly good. The thing is just follow that recipe. Just mail, market, don't get distracted by the shiny objects, and you'd be surprised what you can get accomplished.
Wow, that's so awesome. So like, how many properties have you sold like this whole time?
So as of yesterday, Adam and I are tied at 34 apiece. So
Wow.
yeah.
So
So
awesome.
again, it's just every single time I, sell a property. Okay, cool. I'm gonna take a break. He hops on, says, hey, dude, I just sold 3. What are you doing over there? I'm like, geez, okay. And now I got to try harder to go, sell some more land. But yeah,
I'm kind
it's
of
been fun.
curious now. Before you started getting all of your VAs
Mhm.
in place, how much time are you spending on the business? Like,
I'm
I don't know
not
if you
sure
could average it that.
I don't know if I want to admit that. I was basically working two full-time jobs. So I would imagine between 20 and 40 hours just messing with stuff.
Wow.
So your iPhone will send you alerts, at the end of the week, how much time you spend on your phone and what you spend it doing. And that's when I sat down and I looked through that history for like a month, and I'm like, oh shoot, I need to hire more people because I'm doing way too much of this. So that's last month I finally put all the right VAs in place, and now I spend about an hour or two a day talking to my VAs, answering questions, and then doing stuff like this, Zoom calls with people and talking to other, like yourself and other people who are interested in um, this niche. So it's kind of nice.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many VAs do you have?
Um, I would have to actually think about that. It's north of 6. So primary VAs, I have an intake manager, I have an
Mhm.
ad writer, I have an ad poster, I have a person responding to messages, so that's 4, and then I just hired a sales assistant, so 5. So I'd say 5 main ones, and then depending on whatever else I'm doing, I'll bring in other VAs for some quick jobs and stuff like that. So and then a due diligence team and a title. So there's 7. So 7 primary VAs with a whole bunch of other ones that I bring in periodically.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah, but it's so nice. I mean, that's the thing I tell people too. Is it took me 7 months to get out of my own way and actually hire them all, but the money you spend is well worth it. So the sooner you get a good team in place and get them working for you, the sooner you can really start focusing on the CEO side of your business. I didn't believe Mark and Scott and all them when they said that, but I do now. It just took me some time to get out of my own way.
Wow. Well, and I want to share another thing that I do know about you, Paul, is that you're so helpful. I think that I reached out to you, might have been on Facebook Messenger. I can't remember what. I'm like, hey,
Yeah,
Paul, I think I saw
yeah,
you in the other community. And I'm like, I got some questions. And that's how it started. Like, I just would ask him and he'd be always answering the questions and helping me along the way. And, I appreciate that a lot. But that's one of the things about the community too, right? We try to say that
totally.
we've got such a good community and helpful people.
Yeah, that is the awesome thing about this community versus some of the other ones I dabble in is they're a lot more willing to help. And that's the thing too. Helping other people kind of helps you cement in your brain the actual right processes. Because that was another thing. I was actually talking to another gentleman about hiring VAs sooner rather than later. And I'm sitting here smacking myself on the forehead going, okay, dummy, you need to kind of follow your own advice here and go put that other VA into play that you've been stalling on because you didn't want to pay for it. I'm like, So being willing to actually help and share your knowledge. And the cool thing about this niche is there's so much land out there, so many places to buy it. You could bring 1,000 people in and they still wouldn't take all the land from you. I'm still getting people I'm in one of the busiest counties in Colorado, and I still get people say, oh, you're the first person that's ever sent me a letter. I'm like, are you kidding
Wow.
me? So
Wow.
there's so much land out there.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I agree. Wow. Well, we want to tell you thank you, but I have one maybe last request is you
Yeah.
had a couple of things you want to share on what it takes to be a successful land investor. Maybe 2 or 3 words or, a tip or
Yeah.
something.
It's you've heard it before. It's 2 things. Super simple. Just show up every day. So do your research, get your mail out, and then market, and just keep repeating that. And as your company grows, you can then branch out to do other things. And the other thing to remember with land is there's no such thing as a land emergency. And I would know because I'm in the emergency services, but land's not going anywhere. And just about anything can be solved with a question to either a rocket lawyer or somebody in the community. So that's the thing about this niche is you can take it slow and just work through the processes. And as long as you show up, good things are going to happen.
Oh, that's good. That's good advice. Oh, I
Thank you.
um you do most of your sales from Facebook, right?
I am about 90% Facebook, and the rest are buyers lists and website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So when you get these leads, right, from
Mhm.
Facebook, it's always like, is this available?
Oh
So
yeah.
what do you say, and like how many like interactions do you have with these people before you decide to cut them loose or that they're not viable
Yeah.
leads?
Exactly. So that's what when I did that audit, that's where I figured out I was spending most of my time doing, was answering leads and stuff like that. So I kind of got a couple little um, scripts for my VAs to follow, and basically their primary goal is to get the phone number and the email address so that we can get them off of Facebook Messenger. So within a message or two, we try to get that out of them. And there's about 10 different ways you can try to do that. But the shorter you spend on Messenger, the better I'm finding. But if they don't respond to one or two messages, I move on. There's so many other people out there. The goal, though, is to get them onto email, and then get them an email that's got a little bit more information, but still enough that they're going to want to actually respond to that email to get more information. So maybe that first email you send only has a picture or two, and then your call to action at the end is, hey, if you would like more pictures or information, please respond to this email. Once I've got them there, that's where my sales assistant takes over, and she will then get on the phone with them and call them and try and catch them that way. I am learning that if you get on the phone and talk to people, you'll sell it a lot faster than just going back and forth on Facebook Messenger or email.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. Whole process right there. Oh.
Yeah. Nope, not me.
Oh.
Emergency.
Yeah. That's another station. I'm safe for now.
Thinking
Yeah,
about
so-
wraps us up. Yeah. So anything you want to share with the group or the the world?
If you're watching this at the bottom, I think they have a link to the toolkit. Go purchase it. You won't be disappointed. Get started there. You got to look at. Here's one thing too. If you're thinking about getting into this niche, don't try and do it yourself. You're gonna waste a lot of time and a lot of money. Start with the toolkit. Although I highly recommend flight school, and just look at it as your initial investment into the business and your investment into yourself. There's a saying out there, something to the effect that, to become a master, you have to sit at the feet of masters. So you've got to pay for training at some point, somewhere down the line to do it. There are stories of people who've done it on just a toolkit or just searching the internet, but they take 3 or 4 years to get to where some people are in 6 months to a year. So just do it. I mean, that's what I tell people. If you want to make this a business or something to do, get the training and go for it.
That's good. Words of advice.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we're good. Yes?
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you. We appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks. Go save the world.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. So like and subscribe. Anything else?
No, we'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye.